Hi, I'm Dave,
And I'm Paul.
and we're going to challenge you to transform your financial future through the principles of the most profitable business in the world, banking.
We believe everyone should be involved in two businesses, the business that you're in and the banking business. Everyday people can replicate what bankers have been doing for centuries to leverage capital and build wealth through private lending.
Join us as we uncover the truths about money, expose lies and myths, and flip conventional financial advice on its head. Here we go. All right, Paul, welcome back, man. What's going on?
How you doing, man? It's raining here. What do you guys got going on up there? You got any snow yet?
Good. No snow. It's Minnesota. We're almost towards the end of November. No snow even in the forecast.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've got two of my boys really love the snow. One just had a birthday a few days ago, and his birthday wish was to have snow before his birthday, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. One year we didn't get snow until the day after Christmas.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get some before Christmas.
Yeah.
Have a little white
Christmas
Christmas.
is always nice. Makes it feel like Christmas.
Yeah, I put up lights. Actually, I actually farmed that out to somebody else. Put up lights on the front of the house, but I've
Yeah.
got these 3 trees in the backyard that line the road coming into the neighborhood that I put up lights over the weekend. Me and Jack, my son, and gotta say it looks pretty good. But you know what? They were gonna charge me $600 to do those lights. I was like, nah. I mean, I can do that. I don't have to get on a ladder. I'll figure. It's nice out. It gives me something to do. It cost me $300 in lights, so I didn't really
Wow.
save a whole lot.
Yo, I want to see a picture.
Okay, I'll send you a picture tonight when it gets dark and I flip them on. So
Awesome.
yeah, it looks
Dave,
good.
Dave always has to send me pictures. Like, he has a pretty nice looking fireplace, and I wanted to see what it looked like because we were picking out stuff for our fireplace. Like, send me a picture of your fireplace. So,
Yeah, Paul's always asking for pictures. Some of them I can't share with him.
shh, we don't want to mention those.
Yeah. Anyway, man.
Guilty. There it is. I got one in.
You did it. I didn't think you would actually do it. Oh,
It's good.
well, so here we are, episode 94. 6 more weeks, and we got episode 100 coming up. So last week, we asked for some feedback at the end of the episode. Maybe people just don't hang out to the end of the episode. So I don't think we got any feedback. So we're doing this at the beginning. 100th episode coming up. Give us your suggestions. What are your ideas? What should we do? Because we're not quite sure what to do. But it's kind of a big milestone. 100 straight weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, there's a million podcasts out there or whatever, so I don't know how many make it to 100. But yeah,
I don't
quite a
think it's
milestone.
many. Maybe 5%.
Especially without missing 100 consecutive weeks.
Yeah.
Consecutive. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Well done. And this is something. So this is the power of, I guess, accountability. Maybe is one thing you could say, but also just the power of doing something with somebody else. Like what you can do with somebody else is more than double what you can do alone. Like I truly believe that. The synergy, to use one of those corporate buzzwords. But what I could have done alone on a podcast, no way I would have got to 100 podcast episodes consecutive, one a week for 100 weeks. And neither would you. Like there's just no way.
There's no way.
And even us together hosting it, if we did everything like the editing and the producing, the publishing and all that, there's never would have happened.
Yeah, and another thank you to those guys for getting us off the ground, and it's been a great relationship. And yeah, there's no way. Like I have no idea how to do any of that stuff, nor do I have the time or the desire.
Exactly, or the skill. So
let me plug that book, Who Not How. I think we talked about it a little bit, but that's kind of what the book was eye-opening. I could have used it a few years ago, but it makes so much sense that you don't have to do everything yourself. There's like I hired an assistant recently, and it's a lady that I've known for years, and she's very good, and she's doing really good for me. So, and it's something it was a big leap though. I was like, well, I got to hire an employee because I'm too busy, and I don't want to do certain tasks anymore because I need to be doing other tasks like recording this podcast.
Yeah, and talking to more people. So exactly. So and we followed that. I think before we even read that book, we realized on our own we got to find a who for this podcast because there's no way that we're going to figure out how to do it.
Right.
Like, and frankly, the amount of time we would put in is way more valuable than the amount of money we spend to have it produced.
Yeah, I would say that's true. Yep.
Yeah. So I could make a lot more money with that extra time than it cost me to pay somebody to do it for me.
Yeah, and I'd probably go prematurely gray and bald by doing things I don't know how to do, like editing.
Yeah, you'd get burnt out. That's what happens. You get
No,
burnt
just burn
out, and you would just stop doing it and be like, I don't see the point because it probably took us 5 or 6 months before we got, people calling us and wanting to talk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah. So there you go. So 100th episode. Send us your ideas because we want to do something cool. Maybe we should meet in person. In Texas, we happen to know somebody who's got a podcast studio. Maybe we can go down there and use that. Who knows?
Ooh, that could be like the episode we just appear on his podcast.
Yeah, yeah. And
I'm down for that. I don't know if I can make it work, but
yeah,
maybe.
I guess we would have to do that sometime in December.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's explore that offline.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so let's get to it. People are like,
Let's
"Oh
get
my
to it.
God, get to the point, Paul."
Yeah, I feel like some of those other podcasts where they just small talk for 6 minutes and 20 seconds.
Sorry about
before they
that.
Get to the point. Okay, back on track. So today, let's talk about something that's come up recently and some conversations I've had, and this resonated with you quite a bit too when we were talking about it. Is people are always used to being sold on something. We're always used to somebody coming at you with nothing but the good, nothing but the benefits of, hey, you need to do this. Everything else is terrible. Don't listen to them. Do this. In our business, when we talk to people, and I've said it verbatim a couple times this week alone, is I'm not going to try to sell you on this. Because What do we say about IBC?
It's caught, not taught.
Exactly. So I could teach you, but if you're not catching it, if you don't have the desire to figure out why this might fit into your life, then nothing I can say I can talk till I'm blue in the face. So, and frankly, that'd be a waste of both of our times, mine and the other person's time. So, So why do we never try to sell anyone on IBC? So let's talk about that. Maybe I'll start with a story of somebody who's currently going through the underwriting process to get a couple policies. I talked to him, it was probably about 2 months ago, and somebody told him, hey, you should really reach out to Dave and have a conversation about this thing called the infinite banking concept. He didn't know much about it. He did a little bit of research. We came in, had a 30-minute conversation. And the whole time he was like, yeah, I get it, but it doesn't, I just don't really see how it applies to me, to my life. Maybe this could apply to other people, but not me. It was, frankly, the appropriate word is probably a little cynical about it. And I said, okay, great. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll send you some resources. Check it out. Here's a book, read this book, and here's my podcast. And, if you got any questions, let's talk again. And I think I put in my notes, like, not interested, cold lead, not interested. And forgot about it. And, a couple weeks later, he scheduled more time and we had another conversation. He's like, yeah, I've been through the book a couple times now. And here's my questions. So we talked about his questions. I clarified them and I helped lead him in the right direction in the way he was thinking about certain aspects of banking and the infinite banking concept. And that conversation went a lot better. And then like a week later, he contacts me. He's like, all right, I'm ready to get started. And I want to get my wife a policy as well. So now we got both of them in underwriting. And I did not spend really any time educating him directly. What I did was point him to some resources, answer his questions, and guide him. Because that's what you and I are. We're like guides.
Yep.
Right? So I didn't sell him on anything. In fact, one person I talked to this week, I basically told him, I did the opposite of selling. I was like, I don't think this is what you're looking for. I don't think it's what you think it is. So here's some resources, check them out. Maybe he'll call me back, maybe not. But, he got into some noise and thought it was something it wasn't. And I corrected him and said, I don't think it's what you're looking for. No, we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. So you had those experiences as well.
Oh, no, no question. I had a random phone call. It was an unknown number the other day. I was actually at work and I was like, who's this? Because you never know, is something getting delivered or, whatever it is. And it's a guy who thought I was like a bank. And would I be interested in like funding his real estate deal or something? And I was like, and it was very odd. I was like, no, that's not really what I do.
But it kind of is. You have done that before.
Yes, but it was just totally out of left field, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, to echo what you said, Dave, this is caught, not taught. I tell people that all the time early in the process, because usually people are coming to us now, at least through the podcast, our listeners, love you, but they're coming to us from they've got some knowledge, and usually they just need a little bit of clarity from us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some coaching. And we always get really good questions. But people that are just, on YouTube, they heard about it in some group they're in or whatever, and then they watch all of the wrong things. They come to us with the completely wrong idea of what IBC is and then how to properly implement it, right? So the unlearning takes some time. But yeah, it doesn't... Bottom line, I can't teach you why the infinite banking concept is worth incorporating into your life. I read one book. In fact, this is the copy you sent me back in 2018 when it came out. And that's what I'm looking for. Not everyone's like that. We've both had people that we've spent years and they're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my most recent clients, which is my old boss, and she's a listener, and I told her about IBC probably 3 or 4 years ago now. I was like, you need to check this out. This would be right up your alley. Big single family rental person, and yeah, here we are 3 years later.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the way. I mean, how many people have you talked to who say, yes, my brother told me about this, or my brother-in-law like 3 years ago, and I just now read the book or started looking into it, and man, I should have listened to that person.
Yeah, that's the typical response for people that the light bulb does go off is, gosh, I wish I had started this 20 years ago, or my parents had, or whatever. That's very typical.
Yeah.
It would change the trajectory of a lot of families too, had that been the case.
Yep. Oh, for sure. But, I think what we appreciate most about the listeners who end up, hey, scheduling time with us, getting on a phone, getting on a Zoom call and discussing this is that they've done some education. They've done some research, and not the rabbit hole research on YouTube. Right. So like I had a call this week, or actually it was maybe 2 weeks ago, a guy pretty motivated sounded like he was hot on the idea, right? He wanted to implement it. A week later, I get an email saying, hey, the more research I've done, the less I'm sold on this. And I responded to him. And I think I said in that email, like, I'm not trying to sell you on this, but here's the problem with going down that rabbit hole of finding research online. You're going to find so much noise. If you want to find articles or videos on why IBC sucks, you're going to find them.
Yeah.
And they're always going to be from somebody who doesn't understand whole life insurance in the first place. That's Correct. A fact. Or straight up deceiving you. But, somebody with a peripheral knowledge and understanding of what whole life insurance is, they're going to claim that this is stupid and there's so much, so many better things you can be doing. What they don't ever get back to, though, is the process of banking. Like, it's the process of banking that we're talking about here, right? Not whole life insurance, even though that's a key factor in this. You got to utilize some kind of product for that process. But people forget about the process of banking. So doing your research is great, but you got to research. You ever heard practice makes perfect?
Yep.
I had a coach.
Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yes. And then a coach told me, no, perfect practice makes perfect. Like I told
we
my
didn't
son.
rehearse that, folks. I was
Yeah.
trying to
And
one up Dave there.
that's true. Because I even told that to my son, to Blake, the other day. We were shooting baskets, and because he's playing basketball this year, and his form, he was his arm wasn't staying straight. He wasn't following through, and his arm was going to the side, something like that. And I was like, Blake, you could practice all day long out here shooting baskets, but if you practice wrong, you're never going to get better. In fact, you may get worse. Who knows? And that's what happens when people follow those rabbit trails and go down a certain hole and find stuff from here and there and over there and patch it all together. That's why we want to send you the correct resources. So what are some good resources that you recommend people get into before they reach out to us?
Well, I think first and foremost, I'm going to hold the book up, but Becoming Your Own Banker, written in 2000, 5th edition. That's the last printed edition. There's a 6th edition that's on Audible. They don't exactly line up, but it's a good supplement if you're not able to read a book. But there's no substitute for Becoming Your Own Banker. Nelson's second book, I'm going to hold it up as well, Building Your Warehouse of Wealth. Obviously, Wealth Warehouse, our podcast, is sort of named for that book, right?
Yep.
And then the first book that I read, though, Dave, and there's How Privatized Banking Really Works. That's on my shelf back there. But this is actually the first book that I read, was The Case for IBC, written in 2018 by Carlos Lara and Bob Murphy and
Nelson.
And Nelson. So
yeah.
So I think I would start there. I would start at the source, which is the Nelson Nash Institute at infinitebanking.org. There's resources on there, and I would read the book. Outside of that, there's a few of our friends that have podcasts on the subject, including, obviously our podcast is where we'd like you to go, but there's other good podcasts as well, but there's only a few. When I say a few, I mean there's a few.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think you can read or listen. I've said this before. You can't read or listen to Nelson Nash enough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I constantly refer back to that book. I was listening to it today in the bus on the way home from work. So
you weren't having conversations with all those people wearing masks on your bus?
No. I don't know if I should say this, but the lady in front of me had one on, and she moved because I might have had a little too much protein, and I didn't care.
Yeah, it's public transportation. That's what you get.
Just letting it fly. I was like, well, so I guess, yeah, that should be funny for people.
All right, TMI. So another resource that we would point you to, obviously, is the podcast. But with close to 100 episodes in the podcast, it's kind of hard to say, hey, go listen to the podcast. What are you going to listen to, right? So what we did on our YouTube channel, we created a playlist. So if you go to the Wealth Warehouse YouTube channel, go ahead and go there and subscribe. Even if you don't watch on YouTube, if you're on there, take a couple seconds and subscribe. We'd appreciate it. It gets the word out, right? More organic results coming up for people searching for something different, something better than what they're already doing. But there's a YouTube playlist. It's six episodes. And hey, this is if you want to introduce your friend or family member to this concept. Not everybody's going to read a book. Pretty much everybody can listen to a podcast. Right. And whether they can watch the video or they can just listen to the podcast, but go to YouTube, look at that playlist and find those 6 videos. We'll probably update that occasionally when more, maybe with the one from last week. That's probably a good one to add to that. How much premium should I pay? But we'll link that playlist in the show notes as well. But go there. And even if you have been listening for a while, or you're already a client, or you're already doing infinite banking, you can rehash, because we cover some of the biggest pieces of infinite banking in those 6 episodes. So go there and by all means avoid the noise, because it's not hard to find.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Kind of like kids' socks in my house. They just end up everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's socks. It's like
none of them on YouTube. None of them match.
None of them match. I don't care.
Yeah. The unlearning. Occasionally you'll get we'll get someone into our process that unfortunately has listened to or watched all of the wrong things. Haven't read the book yet, which is good though, right? So they've just watched YouTube and they're excited, and it's like, all right, slow your roll, Turbo, because in our process, you have to read the book.
Yeah.
And you may not like it, but you have to read it because it's going to give you we're going to end up with some shared understanding on our next encounter so that we can have we can be productive in what we talk about. But again, I can't harp on it enough, Dave. You've got to be able to, recognize the noise, avoid the noise, and just you can't go to the source.
Yep. Go to the source. And we, like Paul said, and we've mentioned, we're here as guides, right? People ask me, how often do you get the question, well, so what do you charge? What are your fees?
Yeah.
I get that a lot. I'm thinking about stating a fee now just for the heck of it and see what happens. I'm kidding. You got to be licensed to do
$10,000 an hour.
You gotta have some kind of a consulting fee license, I think.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. A lot of people, this comes up too, and I tell people, it's like, listen, my time is precious, but as our clients, you have the ability to utilize our time. If you have a question, if you're in the process, if you're living IBC and you have keep the questions coming. We appreciate them. We're here to answer them for you. And there's no reason to be in the dark, and your relationship with us can be whatever you want it to be. We'd love to hear from our clients, and we'd like to engage with our clients. You're going to probably hear from us at least once a year. So whether you like it or not, you're going to hear from us. So
yeah, if you're a client, you're probably on my Christmas card list. So be on the lookout, because my wife's on top of that. Man, she's already got those things ready to go.
Dude, the list just keeps growing.
I know. I sent her the list, and she was like, "Whoa, you want to send out this many?"
Yeah,
like, yeah, they're all.
It's not like 40. We sent out 180 last year or something.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah, but hey, it's what you do, right? 'Tis the season. Right. I remember when I was a kid, my mom would hang all those cards around the door or something.
That's
like
right.
that.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we keep them in a stack and we flip through them. So hey, I'm happy to take a Christmas card. I like keeping up on people.
Yeah. We like Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. It's fun with kids in the house, man.
Yeah.
When kids are gone,
you get still some believers in there, or what?
Some true believers, like the Christmas Chronicles movie. Yeah, the little girls. Little girls are 6 and 8, and
just keep it magical as long as you can.
They get so excited. Yeah. So, we're entering a fun time of year, a very expensive time of year, but a fun time of year, nonetheless. But back to just what do Paul and I do? If you guys want to contact us, what's one of the first things we're going to ask you?
Have you read the book?
Have you read the book? Or what kind of research have you done so far? What's your understanding? Because I want to know where people are at. And most people, and that's what I appreciate about all the listeners. They come in and they have a pretty darn good understanding of what's going on. So keep that going.
Yeah. And that's how, like you said earlier, that's how it has to be. It has to be like that. You have to arrive in this knowledge about IBC in your own way, and people catch it in different ways, right? So, but yeah, that's always the first question. In fact, it's on one of my Calendly link things. Are you, what is your level of knowledge? Have you read the book is another question. So that way, at least I know who I'm talking to.
Yeah, I added the same to mine. So
yeah, those were good, weren't they?
Yeah, those are nice, because if somebody says nothing, I'm brand new to this, then I know, okay, there's going to be a different kind of conversation. And the conversation's mostly going to say, here's what you need to do.
That's right.
If you want to learn more about it, here's what you need to do. I'm like, hey, the time is yours. You can ask me whatever you want during that time. But at the end of the conversation, I'm going to say, here's the next steps. And it's not run the application. It's, go back and do some research.
Right.
And here's the
Yeah.
resources to do that.
This way you avoid the person who's listened to all the noise and they're like, I want to buy IBC. Like, how do I buy an IBC?
I want to invest into IBC.
I want to invest into IBC. And it's just, oh boy, my goodness gracious. What did you listen to or watch? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, there you go. And what else? Any other resources you can think of that have been helpful to you? You know, a powerful resource is most people that come into this don't know anybody else who's doing it. Right?
Well, yeah, the odds of running into somebody in your life who's paying 20% of their income as life insurance premium is slim to none.
Yeah. Very rare. So, finding other people who've done this, or like Paul said, reaching out, looking at other infinite banking podcasts. And if you want to reach out to us, we'll give you the names. I don't want to forget one of the good ones that we could share with somebody right now. So I wasn't going to name them, but we definitely have our favorites that we listen to personally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've become, good friends with all of them. So, these are folks that are doing it right. Another resource, if you're, we work with people in all 50 states. So that's not an issue. Get clients in Hawaii, Alaska, Massachusetts, Florida, Alabama, New York. New York is everybody's favorite state in the insurance industry, just so
we'll work with you.
Knows that.
Guess what? New York hates you. They don't want to give you very many options.
They don't.
They truly hate you as individuals.
Yeah, a lot of companies, folks, do not operate in New York State. That being said, yes, we work everywhere. But if you want to, be able to sit down with somebody, you could fly to Minnesota, you could fly to, Northern Virginia, we can have some coffee, or you could go to infinitebanking.org and the practitioner finder and find yourself a local practitioner that may be close to you. They're not everywhere. There's not that many of us, but you might be able to, meet someone halfway or something.
Yeah. Or maybe come out to the IBC think tank. I'd recommend that mostly for people who are IBC users. But I think everybody's allowed to come out once if you're not a practitioner, right?
Right. I've got a guy that's asking for a waiver of that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Somebody who went last year and wants to go again. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got I know a couple guys now going through the program, IBC practitioner course. So we're growing. And any other producers who are listening right now and maybe don't have IBC as part of what they teach people, look into it, because it's a great group of people and you're going to learn how to do it the right way.
Yep. And you're also going to start having the best clients.
True. Yeah. Like I was telling you before this, in 5 years, I haven't had a single client not pay their premium because they know what the heck they're doing. They know why they did it in the first place, and they know they're in it for the long term. And I've never had to, force somebody to pay a premium. I've had to remind some people because maybe they're on quarterly premium payments, and it's like, hey man, you're 21 days past due.
Yeah. No,
don't forget about that.
Sometimes tough. I actually forgot to pay one of mine, and I got the notice in the mail. I was like, oops.
Yeah, I've forgotten to pay too, but thank God they have a 30-day grace period. So if you don't pay right on your date, they'll remind you, but set your own reminder. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get better at that.
Yeah.
I blame Tammy.
Yeah, there you go. Now, she's going to listen to this too.
Yeah, she's a listener. That's for sure.
Yeah. Good. Well, all right, man. Any other closing thoughts?
Control your capital. But we're going to say that later when we sign off. But
you got to say that one. Well, I will say, I know this is coming out a week after Thanksgiving, but we're heading into Thanksgiving week as we record this. So I'm just really thankful for everybody listening. I'm thankful for you as a friend and a business partner in this endeavor, and for doing this, with me 94 weeks in a row so far.
I'm going to quote Patrick Swayze, ditto.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody's a Ghost fan.
Oh man. Just the pottery scene, just
classic. I watched
Anyway,
that.
no.
I told Hannah about that movie. She'd never seen it like a couple
What?
years ago, and we watched it, and I was like, "Oh, it really wasn't as good as I remember it being." But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not.
yeah,
But no, thankful for our clients. I'm thankful for IBC. Thanks to you for introducing Tammy and I to it. Thank the Lord for making me see that it was valuable for sure.
yeah.
I was Dave's best client, obviously.
You really were. You were my most ideal client because you're probably the most like me. So,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
Man.
that's a compliment, by the way.
Well, obviously.
Obviously.
No, man, it's been great. No, it's been great. Love it. And looking forward to episode 100. So send in your recommendations, folks, for what you think we should talk about. Any burning questions, we can cover those too.
Yep, absolutely. All right, everybody, thanks, and have a great week. And until next time, control your capital.
Or somebody else will.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. If you'd like to have a conversation with us to see how you can become your own banker, or if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to tackle in a future episode, please send us an email to davidandpaul@theibcguys.com.
And subscribe and leave us a review if you're on Apple. Follow and leave us a 5-star review if you're on Spotify. And please share this with your friends. We'll see you next week.